Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week is our resident gaming journalist Eli
How's everyone doing today?
and our retro aficionado Unoclay.
First person to write in and tell me what that sound
Oh,
is
is it
from.
track and field?
No, but that's
Dang
a great
it.
guess.
It sounds like it's from a sports game.
Yeah, no, it's a great guess. I'll say the answer in next week's podcast. And if anyone feels like hitting me up at Unoclay_switch, I'll send you something in the mail, and I'm good for that because ask around. I like sending things to people.
Kid Icarus?
Yeah. No, good guess though. Good guess. It has the right sounds, and you're in the right era.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of it.
Yeah,
but I can't name it.
Yeah. You're in the right era, and I totally respect those guesses because that little jingle does sound a little bit like those games. Track and field, I really like that guess, but not a winner.
Dang it. Oh well. I guess we'll have to move on. So we'll start off with All right, we'll start off with what we've been playing, but I want to take a little time out of what we've been playing to say to Unoclay, thanks for the gift you sent us.
Oh man, did you get it in the mail? Nice.
I sent a message on Skype. Okay, let me just say, I'm not an asshole.
Thanks. I told you thanks a while ago. I appreciated it. It was I picked those up. If why don't you guys tell the listeners what it is so that I can explain a little bit about it?
Sure. There were stamps, Mario stamps, in Japan that don't work in America because we're in America and not in Japan. But very, very cool regardless.
Yeah, there's a like a limited edition like we get in America here. Like I had the Batman stamps for a while and just ran out. In fact, I was bummed. They were from like a year ago, and then there's like different limited editions. Like I have some original Star Trek ones that I'm using up now. I'm not even that into stamps. Who cares really? But like it's kind of cool when you send a letter to have it look cooler, like by 1 millimeter. But these are like Japan had a series of Mario stamps, and I'd heard about them, and I was trying to think of something to get you guys, and it had to be small and flat ideally, so they fit the bill because I was like, my bag is too full of crap, so it was like it's got to be flat. So enjoy. Don't spend them all in one place.
They're very cool. I probably will never use them, and I'll just I'll just keep them by my bedside. That every time I go into bed, it's up there, framed. And I can think of Clay and how much he loves us.
Sounds hot. I love it. No, cool. If they ever do become valuable, feel free to flip them and get some money out of them. I don't take offense to things like that. I have no idea how we'll know. But
Clay wants a 50% cut.
Nah, dude, I'm all good. I got my own. I picked up a sheet of my own. So we'll all watch it together and see if they increase in value in the market someday. So. But enjoy. Yeah, Mario stamps. If you never saw them, you can look up them online. It's like they're in the post offices right now, or they were in Japan. So, Mario stamps, Mario stamps. So cool. Yeah, glad to be of service. I'm sorry it wasn't Pokemon.
No, it's fine. It's cool, especially because they do like
Pikachu, but I guess this works too.
I like when
like
they
a literal Pikachu.
Yeah,
but.
I like when they do unique art for Mario in all these different places. Like I think the Line app, it's literally called Line, has like unique Mario pieces that aren't in other places, or like parental controls, or all these weird areas that just have really unique art going on.
Nice.
I also like you gave me like a little message in a drawing, which was nice, but you wrote it on like the back of your math homework or something. I was like, where the heck did he get this from? He just like pulled the paper out from a box.
I just have like stacks of reused paper that in fact the answer to that, why that said that, funny aside, is that I have I don't know what you call it, like a secret Santa. There's a thing called Free Cycle that you can use in a lot of cities. Mm-hmm. You just go on there and you ask for stuff, or you give stuff away that you don't need anymore. And because for my job, I have to print a lot of like draft documents and then read through them on paper, because sometimes I spot stuff that's wrong with things I'm working on if I read it or look at it rather than on the screen. And I have to just print a lot of different crap for my job that is like a one-time use stuff. So I feel real guilty using new paper. So I went on FreeCycle, this website, and asked for like used paper. I just need one-sided paper that's been used once, but I can print on the other side of it. Like I need stacks of it. I need reams of it, because I just go through it sometimes so fast. And then I would have to be like printing on, blank paper for like to read it once and then throw it in the recycling bin. So this woman near me, she must live near me, she comes and drops off like huge bundles of paper on like my porch. So because I really do use a lot of paper. Like it's for someone who's like an environmentalist, it's kind of ironic, but this way I'm not really, quote, using paper. I'm using reused paper. So that was some kid's homework, because I think she's a teacher. And I think that's why she has so much paper, because she has to like give out worksheets and crap in her school. So it wasn't my homework. I hope that little kid did his math problems right. I don't know. I hope you weren't thinking it was me that got like 10 plus 3 wrong or something. But
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah. Enjoy some other kids' homework there. So there you go.
I will.
Yeah. The funny thing about these stamps, actually, not to go back to that, but like I didn't notice till I was looking at them like the third time. There's kind of a story being told. Like there's a little bit of like a narrative if you look at it, like from stamp to stamp. Like it's basically confirming that like Mario's got a Woody for Peach, because she's sending him a love letter, and then he's at home reading it and getting the little hearts over his head and stuff in the one frame, and she's giving him a kiss, and he's looking really surprised at that in the one picture and stuff. So it's kind of like backdoor confirmation that they're gonna do it.
You heard it here first.
I mean, if Mario's looking surprised, I guess it's a little way off, but you know, that's what Mario's Odyssey is really going to be.
Gosh, well, there is a wedding involved. There has to be a time after the wedding.
Yeah, the interspecies wedding, if I'm not mistaken, right? Right? Yeah.
How many more things do we have to reveal about you? Unoclay's into bestiality. Moving on.
Hey, I'm Matt's dad. I'm not Unoclay. What up? Matt, what's this podcast about tonight? All right, what are we doing?
All right, so we'll move on to what we've been playing, and or what I've been playing, or whatever. Anyway, I finished Snake Pass because SteamWorld Dig was coming out. What was the game before I played? Mario and Rabbids. I finished that, and then I'm like, okay, well, before starting SteamWorld Dig 2, I should probably finish Snake Pass, so it doesn't like get thrown under the bus. Yeah. Under SteamWorld Dig and then Mario Odyssey, because then it'll be like another several months. So I decided to finish it, and I really like it. It's pretty cool. I'd probably give it like a 7 or a 7.5. Doesn't mean it's not.
Excuse me, are you disrespecting our gift? Are you saying that?
No, not at all.
Clay, I think he hates us. I think that's what he's saying.
Matt, that's a 10 or give it a 10 or no more gifts ever, bro.
No, I do really like it. It's a cute game. It's one of those games where it has like a unique concept, but it's still, I don't know how to word it without sounding like I'm ungrateful.
Oh, dude,
no, it's
good.
I like 7 or 7.5 games, because to me, it's like you introduce a unique concept and maybe you don't go like crazy overboard with it, but it's still like solid enough to be a good experience. They do introduce like a new element within each world, so it does like change up. It's not just like, here it is and you're done. But it is, of course, shorter because it is an indie game. I think there's less than 16 levels. I forget what it is. I think it's like 15 or whatever. But yeah. I like it. The moving around as a snake is really cool. And I don't know, just if you're one of those people who like to do time trials or just improve yourself, there's a lot there. There's a lot of collectibles and whatnot to do, and time trial modes and whatnot. I actually watched someone do like time trials after, and it's crazy how quickly this guy can finish a level, and how he does it.
Now, did they patch that game for like something that was maybe a little wrong with it or something a little while ago? Was there any change in the experience over the time you played it? I can't quite remember if there was some big patch in that game.
Yeah, I remember they did patch it for something. I don't remember what it was for, but I started playing it like when I got it, it was well after that. Oh, okay. So I wouldn't have known the difference.
Right. Yeah, to wrap up on Snake Pass, would you, if someone else was gonna like think about looking at it on the eShop, like what kind of games would you compare it to, or what kind of games should you like if this is a game for you? You know,
Ooh.
like because I looked at it, I kind of have a good idea. It looks like kind of a collectathon, kind of a 3D platformer, right?
So you don't actually have to collect anything, and that's how I started playing it when I went to revisit it, because the problem I had was the saving points seemed inconsistent. I could collect something and then hit like I don't know some kind of checkpoint marker, and sometimes it would save the orbs and sometimes it wouldn't. I couldn't tell if that was because I already hit that checkpoint and maybe that's just once you hit it, it saves whatever and then you have to wait till a new one or whatnot. So that kind of bugged me, and that's why I kind of just stopped collecting the orbs. I'm not actually sure what happens if you collect all the orbs or anything, because I don't think I got all of the collectibles and anything. All I know is the coins are harder to get, kind of like star coins in Mario. The blue orbs are like the main orbs you get, and I think there might be one other thing. But for the most part, you have to collect 3 main gems to finish the level, and that's how you do that. But yeah. I forget your question.
Oh, I was saying.
Oh, you're saying how would you compare it to, or what
yeah,
would you compare
like what
it to?
kind of games would you be looking for? This would kind of be the thing for you, you know, if you're looking for an eShop game. Like, I know you had a lot of fans. Like, you're a big fan of a few 3D like platformy collector type games back in the day. So
yeah,
maybe
it's more akin to like a puzzle game, and I'm not even sure what I would compare it to because it's so different. Like the whole concept of the game is you're a snake and you have to coil yourself around like bamboo shoots and other things to manipulate your way around the environment, which is really cool. I do like that, and it's fun doing that. So but like yeah, there's not really anything to compare to that I can think of. I would just say if what you see looks interesting, you'll probably like it. If not, maybe not for you, but it's one of those things you also kind of have to feel. Because you could like see someone playing it and you're like, wow, this looks really clunky. This guy can't do anything for crap. And it's like, nah, you just gotta get into the mood of it. It'll take like a few levels to get adjusted.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's neat. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd ever gone back to that. So that's cool you finished it out. I'm a big fan of trying to clear out games before I get on to new big ones. So that's good you did that, because I'm failing at that lately in my life.
Yeah,
so.
I knew it was going to get pushed into a bunch of other games, so I wanted to make sure I actually finished it, not like Mike, who waited like 2 years to try Guacamelee.
Yeah. Mike and his like delaying on playing things that are readily available. We all know that. But what about our other podcast member Eli, who's got the opposite problem? Too many games.
Well, I reviewed Mario and Luigi.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I thought it was solid. I didn't play the original, as I talked about last time, but it's available on the Wii Virtual Console for $8. So it's a little bit harder to justify buying it again on the 3DS, especially since the extra content that's there, the Bowser's Minions minigame, is not that great.
Oh.
So,
can you speak? Is it long, like the Bowser's Minions part, if someone liked it?
yeah, I mean it's like a sizable mini game. If you are the content, but it's not great. It's like it reminded me of Warrior's Way on Street Pass, in the way that you kind of like collect minions, and each one there's like the weapons triangle. Where flying enemies are good against like walking enemies, then like range enemies are good against flying enemies, etc. Or I forgot which way it went. And so it's not that great. All you do, it's like the battle takes place, and then you kind of just have to press the buttons in the same ways in a battle where like timed so that they're executed correctly. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of tough to describe. But as a result, there's like but there's very little strategy. So it was kind of like not great. And the main game, I guess, is there's not much change there from what I understand. So it's kind of just up to you whether you're willing to put the money in. I mean, the game is still solid. I think it holds up. The dialogue's still pretty humorous in the main game, and I enjoy playing through it. But if you do have a Wii U and you just want to replay this game, I'd probably suggest getting the Virtual Console game.
Huh. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, that's a great reason. I'm a really big fan of that series overall, and I liked the earlier ones better than the later ones. I couldn't remember. Did you say you didn't play this one, but you played other ones in the series?
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you rank this particular game for people who've maybe not played this one? Is it like?
I don't think it's as good as some of the other ones. I think that a lot of people think that this one is the best one in the series. I think Mike thinks that.
Yeah.
I don't really agree. I think the ones that came after it, particularly, I really like Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that those were a lot deeper mechanically,
Yeah.
and there was a lot more going there. And I guess Dream Team was also pretty good. So I think that maybe because it was first, people really look at it fondly. But thinking about it as someone who played that game last in the series, and I played, I think, all the other ones, it's just really simplistic by comparison. So that's why I'm not as hyped up on it as some other people, because there really doesn't have the depth that the sequels did, or I guess the other games in the franchise.
Yeah, I'm looking at your review now on Enthusiast, and it's like, it's a shame to see you comparing the Minion Quest to something as simplistic as the Warriors Way Street Pass title, because I'm like, if they're going to do new content as the bait for someone like me to buy this, because I would be tempted by this. I have to be honest, I have such a bad memory. I can't remember if I've played this one or not, because I've played several of the Mario and Luigi games, but this is the one I'm not sure if I ever played it. And it's just like, I don't remember plot in games at all, especially when the plot is Peach is kidnapped. I think I've played a few of those.
It's the one with all the bean people.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at the pictures of that, and I don't recognize that. So I'm thinking this is the one I haven't played ever.
I think this was the GBA one.
Yeah.
And all the others were DS and 3DS.
Yeah, but the thing is, I had an original fat DS with a GBA slot, so there's like games I had,
right, I guess.
Like, and we have a GBA laying around the house somewhere here. So it's just like, I know it sounds insane to you guys, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, they all kind of blend together for me, but I like them all. So it's not like a bad thing exactly. And I was definitely thinking about getting this at some point, but maybe I still will. 40's a little high.
Yeah, exactly.
But like...
Depends how portable you need it. Do you need it just around the living room portable or like out of the house portable?
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely won't want to play it on Wii U. I know that, so portable is the way to go no matter what. But I could always like look around and see if I could find an original GBA cartridge somewhere for heck, and see if I can get it for a decent price for that, and play it on the original hardware. But who knows? I mean, does it look particularly more HD or like, I don't know, upscale?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely it does look better. And the animations, it's kind of weird, and I really appreciate what they did in the fact where the sprites look a lot better. They do not look like GBA sprites, but the style still stayed like a GBA style. And that's something I definitely still appreciated. If you look at some of those videos of the trailers and stuff, it's demonstrated there. But like, I personally really love the way GBA games are styled, both.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. I just kind of like the style from Pokemon to until I guess this game, and in the way that the sprites were used, and it's just kind of nostalgic for me. So the fact that they were able to keep the style while still upgrading the visuals, I think is really skillful and something I appreciated.
Matt, did you ever play this game?
I did.
Nice. So what are you thinking? You gonna get this or no? You're kind of done with your 3DS, so you're probably not, right? Or maybe.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm not really like crazy on remakes either. Like if I've played something once, I don't really need to play it again. I did with Wind Waker, but that's because it was like 10 years and I don't know, it looked better and whatchamacallit, I don't know, I just kind of felt like it, whatever.
Wait a few years. Life is long, right?
But it's weird with this because it's like you remade a handheld game for another handheld. So it almost feels like, is this really... Like, it does look a lot better, but it also seems like not as far as a remake. I don't know. It just seems weird for a remake because usually you go from like standard quality to like HD, or you make this huge jump. I don't know. I just think of like handheld up to console, where versus this seems more like a lateral move.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, they're clearly just like padding the library a little bit for people who want to see 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean, so we don't need to overanalyze it. It's like, hey, like you said in your review, Eli, on Nintendo Enthusiast, you're kind of saying like there are people playing Nintendo games now that weren't alive when this game came out, and that is to realize and completely true. And it's the kind of thing that only gets truer the longer you live. Let me tell you. So it's like, like it's like, hey, why not? Like make this great Mario game. And Mario always sells, and it's there's not going to be any more Mario games on 3DS as far as we know. So it's like, that's what they're doing. Simple, So cool. I still might get it sometime, but I got to get the Metroid game first. So that's further down the ladder, definitely for me.
Cool. So, Unoclay, have you been playing anything?
I have games. From the retro corner this week.
Wait, I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just know you have to get going, and there's one more. Piece
one more quick thing. I'll talk more about this next week once I put more time into it. But I did download SteamWorld Dig 2, and so far I played it for about an hour and a half, and it's really good so far. So I'm hoping it's going to keep up. That's just what I would plug.
I've played 8 hours, and it is great.
Yeah. Oh, talk about it. Talk about it a little bit. I want to hear.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. I saw you in my friends list playing it, Matt, and I forgot. Like, I was thinking, like, I have so many Matts in my friends list that I thought that's got to be Matt, right? That's Matt, right? And then I was like, maybe it's another Matt that has the exact same icon, like in my friends list, like or something. But
man, they really need more icons.
Yeah. Well, everyone wants to be the Splatoon kids. It seems like that's a really popular icon. So. Yeah. But yeah, like, what are you guys thinking? I mean, you're not under any kind of review silence, are you, Eli?
No, it's already out.
Okay, right. Yeah, of course. Matt's got it.
I'm not privileged. I can't get review copies and all this nonsense.
So is it as good as the first one? Tell the guy who hasn't played a little bit of it at all. I haven't even looked at it.
So, honestly, I forget, like, the differences between this and the first one. Because it's been like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. But if you like the first one, you'll definitely like this. It's kind of a more of the same scenario. I don't remember how quickly you earned your different abilities and whatnot in the first one, but I felt like you earned them pretty quickly in this one. I think you have most of the abilities from the main game within like the first 2 hours. So you're pretty good. And then, I'm 8 hours in and I'm still, playing it. I think I'll probably finish at 10 hours, but I'll probably spend like up to 12 just doing some other stuff in the game. Yeah, I don't.
Cost is it like $20 or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it feeling worth $20 or whatever?
I would say yeah, but I love the first one, so I'm kind of like blinded.
Yeah. Eli, did you play the first one? You played the first one, right?
I did. I thought it was really great.
Yeah, he was the one who actually suggested it because I got it in a Humble Bundle, and he's like, "Matt, you got to play this." I'm like, I don't know, Terraria and all those other games look kind of meh. And then I played it. I'm like, wow, I definitely should listen to you more. This is great.
Yeah. Wow, what a great bundle, Terraria and this in the same bundle. That's an amazing pair of games.
It wasn't in the bundle. It just reminded me of Terraria.
Oh, I got you. Right on. Cool. Yeah, so you're liking it too, Eli?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So far, I'm only like an hour and a half in, as I said. So it just seems like more of the great gameplay that I loved, and it's like really addicting. Keeps you coming back because of the rewards that you unlock as you make your way down.
Totally. I can't wait to play it. My backlog on Switch is like, I looked the other night, and I literally have 40 games in my like wish list like already, which is a testament to like. I play games really slow, I admit. Like I only have like 7 Switch games, but which isn't that slow. God, like I'm not that spoiled. Like I mean, like having 7 games in a system that came out like less than 7 months ago or whatever it is not that bad. But yeah, I have like 40 games, and I was like, man, I am gonna really have to start like cutting some of these games out of here because I will never get through this. I got to make decisions about what I want to buy next because Yeah, because that's just another one of like many top tier games that I'm really looking forward to playing on the system, and it's not getting any. That wish list isn't getting short.
After I finished Snake Pass and was looking at SteamWorld Dig 2, the Yono Elephant game got a release date like that week. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm just about to start another game, another one comes out. Jeez.
I don't think I remember what Yono Elephant is. That.
It was from like the Nintendo Direct before.
I don't remember that one. I'll look it up.
Yeah, it just looks cute. But let's get moving on. Unoclay, what have you been playing?
All right. From the retro corner, I've been playing a really cool game for a little bit. You'll have to look it up because I bet most people haven't played it. But if you're really into Famicom Japanese stuff, you've probably heard of it. The title can't be beat. King Kong 2, Ikari no Megaton Punch. And that is the real title of this game, and it's hilarious.
The broad hit as you know it from the 80s.
Yeah, the broad King Kong 2 Ikari Megaton Punch. It's by Konami. It feels a lot like maybe for oldster gamers that play a lot of NES, it feels a little bit like the game that I never had to pronounce called Cabal or K-Ball, where you drive little Jeeps around, and like it's a multiplayer game that we played a ton when we were kids. Or I'm saying the wrong game. I'm thinking of the wrong game. It's called Jackal is the one I'm thinking of. That was a famous Konami game in the 80s, late 80s for a lot of NES owners. You walk around on a map. It's got classic Konami type music and sprite work, and you are King Kong, and you smash the crap out of everything. It's a really simplistic game on the surface, but it's got a lot of like kind of maps that tie together and a lot of trial and error where you go through gates and you're warping around. And since I can't read Japanese, I don't know quite what I'm doing in the game, but I think I have to save my Lady Kong friend, and by which I have to find keys and unlock gates. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of like a top-down tile-based like artwork, tile art, like kind of Konami game. Like think Jackal if you're listening and you played that. It's a little bit like that, only one player. So I was playing that a little bit this week. One of my good friends was staying at my house for a few days while he was visiting in town. He came and scared the crap out of me one night because I was like playing this and I was really deep into this King Kong game. And he comes into my room where I'm playing my game and just like says, "Hi, what are you doing?" And like scares me half to death that I like threw the controller. I was like so deep in King Kong. But yeah, that's I don't know. I'd say if you're into old games, it's one you can play on Famicom. So it's not like unrecommended, but you'd have to have the right mindset for wanting to play NES games that are kind of hard and kind of clunky. But
I like how they just toss in like Zelda dungeons. You go through like this door and it just changes entirely.
So your research is good, and it's a little trippy too. It's got like a real psychedelic effect when you go into dungeons and stuff. But like it's mainly like if you imagine a stacked like tons and tons of vertical scrolling maps like you'd have in something like, I don't know, Commando or Ikari Warriors or any old like NES game where really you just scroll in one direction, like scroll up the screen. The unique thing about this game is that like when you're smashing stuff, the game's all about smashing. That kind of makes it fun because you just walk around punching crap, like whether it's buildings or trucks or tanks or airplanes or other monsters. You're like just punching everything to death and smashing everything. You really do have a megaton punch. But the thing is you're looking for gates that are hidden under stuff. And then there's not really any like indication of where it takes you, but they warp you from like world to world, and you can only tell that by looking at your sub screen, and it'll tell you you're in world 5 now you're world 3, and it's not linear. And like I think, not having read any cheat files yet or anything, I think the idea is that like you can kind of warp around the game to different worlds, but you got to get the keys from each world. And so it's sort of like a maze of like scrolling maps, like where you have to like find the right exits, preferably in the right order, or you're going to have to backtrack and then find the keys, and then presumably that'll do something eventually. And like at some point I'll probably cheat and read a help file on it, but it's entertaining. It's got a really cool feature. You get to punch stuff, so it's hey, and back in the 80s that was enough. So so it's definitely, if you have a Famicom, if you never played it, look it up. It's the King Kong 2 game. You can't miss it. It was literally like $3. Like it's a very common game in Japan anyway, so I'm sure it's pretty cheap on eBay. And then I'll just I'll wrap up by saying, like, in terms of modern stuff I'm playing, I am really proud of myself. I have been full on crack pipe addicted to Binding of Isaac.
I've noticed.
Yeah, you've been seeing me play that a
Yeah,
little
I'm like,
bit.
oh wow, you actually got this game. Cool.
Yeah. I've put in like 40 hours of it probably now. It is like right in the perfect Venn diagram of things I like in games. It's hard as fuck. Excuse me. We just went X-rated on this podcast. It's hard as nails. It's a mystery, and that's something I almost, if I had to think of things I like about games, I want a mystery of not knowing what the game is, and that it rewards me for digging at the mystery. And I don't mean narratively, I mean more like gameplay wise. Like I don't really want to know everything about the game before I start playing it. And that Binding of Isaac is meant to be played that way. It's meant to be like, okay, it's a simple game. You're in this dungeon. Kill everything and get out of dungeon. Okay. And that's pretty much what the game is on the surface, but it's procedurally generated. I've talked about it before, so I won't go on at length, but it's procedurally generated, aka random dungeons that are getting generated based on your settings when you start the game. Like so, and then it's got hundreds and hundreds of items. I mean, that's probably not an exaggeration. I have played almost 40 hours, and almost every gameplay session I get a new item. Like some new item that tweaks your stats in this different way, or gives you a new weapon entirely, or does something you never thought of. Like completely all the time is surprising you, that like you just think, oh man, I never thought what would happen if I got poison bombs that were like randomly regenerating my health at the same time. Like just some random crap. I just made that up, but it's probably in the game somewhere. And it sounds like it could be cheesy in a way, but it's not. It deploys the gets, the treasures, like in such a like kind of rewarding fashion that like you're just always wanting to go back and play it again and go further into the dungeon, because the game is also getting harder. Every time you finish it, it gets harder. And I'm not sure what the end game for the game is, but I know that if you look at the options screen, it says something about 20 different endings. So I'm thinking you have to finish the game 20 times to get the best ending. And the game is getting harder every time you do it. So you thought it was hard when you first turned it on, but you get better. And then you come back and you beat it, and then it gets harder, and then you get better. And it's really fun for that reason. I'm playing it on a hard mode now just to challenge myself even further, because now I'm pretty good, and like it'll kick your butt left or right, but then you'll get a really good run as it thinks of itself. Because like you'll play, usually a run will last anywhere from like 1 minute because you just get killed and you suck, to now when I'm finishing it, it takes me about an hour to finish the full dungeon run. And then you get a full game over credit screen with a new cartoon, and then the game resets, and then you do it again. And more weapons and more items and more things are unlocking, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like stuff starts to happen that changes the game. And new, I'm telling you, I still get new bosses. I'm getting new bosses, and I've been playing the game 40 hours because the bosses are a little randomized. Like there are lower tier bosses in the early dungeon, and then there's like higher tier and tougher with bigger damage deals and like bigger weapons and stuff. And I just can't say how much I like it. I'm so addicted to it. And that's the saddest thing, because my left Joy-Con has been breaking. It's been malfunctioning pretty badly, and I just had to mail it back to Nintendo because it's still under warranty. So I'm going to be handicapped for a week or two and not be able to play this game and be like chewing my nails off. So
yeah, I'm wondering if I should send mine in before Mario Odyssey or just like suck it up.
What is your exact?
It's the same thing. The left one, like, now and again will screw up. It'll like move in a direction I'm not pushing in or whatever, blah blah blah. I've said it before.
Yeah.
So
I had like 3 problems. It wouldn't lock to my console like completely. It wouldn't like stay locked on the console. You could like push it off like with your hand, like without pressing the button. And then it had that thing with the wander thing where like it would get uncentered just barely, and he'd like wander. The character would like wander, but then on top of that, like the thin button on the top, the thin trigger button, whichever one that is, like the L button. I don't know if it's L trigger. I don't know, whatever. It's the tiny thin L button.
Yeah. That
one was malfunctioning too. Like that was like, I'd have to press it really hard to get it to like turn on your X-ray vision in Zelda, you know, or whatever. Like, or like to like in Binding of Isaac, it's to lay a bomb, which is a really important button. And like it would always be malfunctioning, and I'd have to like press the button a couple times to get the bomb to pop out, and then run like hell because I'd be like not sure when it was going to pop out, you know. So yeah, I mean, they're really cool. If anyone's listening and you have a problem with your Joy-Cons, you're definitely still under warranty because you couldn't have bought it earlier than launch day.
Yeah.
So
unless you stole it, and then you're not getting it refunded anyway.
Yeah, like go ahead, like call Nintendo service, get a repair ticket. They give you a free return mailer. And I didn't have to send my console in, which I was really hesitant to do. I would have probably sucked it up too if I had to send the console. I would have been like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose all my save data. So, so I didn't have to do that. I just sent the Joy-Con, and they said it'll be a week to 2 weeks. So it's still available and still free. So get after it if you have the same problem that a lot of people are reporting, that the left Joy-Con's kind of janky. So yeah, that's it. That's what I've been playing this week, man.
Cool. And I've seen in Binding of Isaac, you can turn your enemies into poop. So definitely a plus for that.
Oh, dude, there's so much poop in this game. There's more poop than any game I ever played. Like, you find treasure in poop. You get poop-oriented weapons. You get turned into poop. Sometimes you get explosive diarrhea. That's like a literal weapon that you have. But it's like, there's a lot of like really mean-spirited items in the game, like that are like half good, half bad. Like, that, you know, you're not always psyched you got. Like, that explosive diarrhea means that randomly your character will poop out bombs, and like you've got to run. They damage you. There's friendly fire on, and like it'll happen without warning. You'll just hear a fart, and all of a sudden there's like bombs everywhere, and you're like, damn it! Like, you're like fleeing for the room. Like, it's funny as hell. It's got a really dark sense of humor. I mean, the game is the darkest sense of humor of anything I've practically ever played, other than like a Suda51 game. Like, it's messed up, like straight up, and it loves to mess with you like that. But that also makes it rewarding because you learn to use the things that are against you for you. Like, you really do. You get to think creatively and be like, as long as I remember that every 10 seconds or so I'm going to have explosive diarrhea, this becomes an offensive maneuver. But I got to remember every 10 seconds I'm going to be pooping myself and I got to run away. So yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yourself.
Loving it.
All right. Yeah. Eli, do you have time for one news piece?
Sure.
What's your schedule? Okay. So this actually came out a couple hours ago. So a guy I follow on Twitter, his name is Ty Muddle. I didn't even know his last name. He runs Squish Turtle. Anyway, he released an article saying, I'm just going to say it's a rumor, but saying that Smash Bros. 5 could release as early as October next year.
Bullshit.
So apparently it originally started as a port. Sakurai wanted to enhance it and have like the game changed to 3DS style graphics in the handheld mode, I guess for visual quality and performance, maintaining those. Long story short, all the other studios were too busy on other stuff, so they kind of just like threw it to him, and he got more into the project, and apparently they're turning like this port into a sequel, kind of like Splatoon 2. Do you think, let me read this again. Assuming it's true, do you think it would be better if they held off for a port for a sequel, or should they have released a port this year and then worry about a sequel years down later?
Yeah, I think it sounds doable. It's been several years since Smash came out. Let's see, when did it come out? 2013?
Yeah, I'll put the timeline. So Smash 4 released in 2014. The last DLC, which was Bayonetta, released in February 2016. And Smash 4 took 2 years to develop with Bandai Namco. And this game supposedly started around the end of 2015. So by supposedly October 2018, it would have been 3 years with or without Bandai. So it seemed like it would be enough time to do it.
Yeah, I definitely could see it happening. I don't know if it maybe even follow that story exactly. I just think that I would not be surprised to release in end of 2018 of a new Smash game. It's pretty easy if you were to take the base, or I guess a remake, to just add stuff to it. And if you look at Splatoon 2, what they ended up doing is, aren't they releasing old maps as DLC too, in addition to new ones?
I don't remember. I haven't kept up too much on Splatoon.
Okay, we'll have to look. But I mean, they had a few remastered maps and then a bunch of new ones, or several new ones.
They are. I can confirm that they are releasing old maps like into Splatoon has content.
There you go. So I could totally see the same sort of thing where they would, put out a new, quote unquote, new Smash Brothers with a lot of new content and then slowly add back the old content.
Okay. Unoclay, your thoughts?
Sorry, I was on mute because I was
not acceptable.
I was trying not to like yell into the conversation. I think that the idea, I haven't checked it out, but I'm just gonna bet, like I'm in Vegas, like no data, just bet here that I think that's bullshit. I don't think we're seeing Smash Brothers next year, and I don't think we're getting a full Part 5. I just think it's wishful thinking, and it's the kind of rumor that sounds great because we want it to happen, and that's just my hot take. It's my hot take, like kids on Twitter say.
Different opinions are not a problem. So,
excuse me, Clay, can you make a YouTube video with your hot take?
Yeah.
I already made one. You didn't even see I was making it while I was on mute. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think it sounds like, obviously I can't confirm on the legitimacy because everyone has like an insider sort of thing. It seems not likely, believable, just because of how much time has been given, or how much time it's been since it released, how long we know it takes to make one of these games, and a lot of, we've heard even before the Switch released that other games were getting ports or thinking of getting ports, and then either they became, pseudo sequels like Splatoon 2, or just released, or I guess they all became enhanced ports, but essentially they all started off as ports, and then they kind of added more things later or further down the line. So it does kind of gem with that. And I even heard of, Smash Bros ports well before, like, again, before the Switch came out. And I guess people also assumed that. So it seems pretty believable, and it would kind of, I don't know, explain the reason why we haven't heard of anything on a Smash port, because everyone has been saying, oh man, they're definitely going to make a Smash port. It's easy money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, but why is it taking them so long? If they were going to do it, like, why don't we have it now already? Like, Mario Kart was basically a launch game, right? So it's like, if it was going to just be a port, and it's definitely not coming out this year, the first year of the Switch, how much longer are you going to wait to just have a port? Because then at that point, it's like, okay, why don't we have something, new?
Well, let's remember that the first Smash Brothers was announced. I mean, not the first. The Wii Smash Brothers was announced in 2011, and even then, it took, it was more like announced, and Sakurai didn't even know he was developing it at the time. So, these things take time, I think, even if they are just a remake, or I guess not really a remake, but actually a remake.
Yeah, I agree. They take forever, and that's why I'm saying.
So that's why I think if it were to be the case that it's like a remake, it would, the timetable makes sense.
I guess I just wouldn't see, like, what's the point of doing a port at that point if it's like, okay, you're in the second year or whatever of Switch. Is like,
well, they wouldn't frame it as a port. They'd be like, this is new, but we don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I would love not. Well, I don't know. Like, I think there's something to be said for a lot of time between Nintendo games. Not Metroid levels of time. I don't need that. But like, Smash is the greatest Nintendo game in a lot of ways, and it's just like, I don't know. Too much of a good thing can ruin it. Can make it feel stale. And the last thing I'd want to do is have him rush it to press, and then it just being like a little bit of a letdown in the sense that, like, it's awesome, but it's not really any different in a good way. I know we don't really want Smash to change that much. It's virtually perfect, nearly almost perfect kind of game. I don't know. I don't know what we want, and I would want them to have figured that out before, don't give us more tripping, or something like that. Give us like and don't just make it a purely exact sequel, because then it's going to feel a little stale as soon as you get it. You're going to be like, well, this is great, but like, am I really excited to have my friends over and play a bunch of Smash? You know, when really it's the same game again, and we really didn't finish playing the last one that much until, you know, not that long ago. So, because that's the problem with Splatoon 2. I'm liking it. I think it's awesome, and I have no regrets about buying it. But I'm not as enthusiastic about playing it as I was Splatoon 1, because it is so similar, and that's fine. It's not. I mean, one of my good friends who never played Splatoon 1 put 100 hours into Splatoon 2. Yikes. And I said to him, I said, that's the difference. Like, you never played Splatoon 1. Like, it's still the same game mostly, and it's still really fun. But I put in like 20 hours to your 100, you know, and it's like, you know, that could be the reality we'd see with Smash if they didn't do too much new with it, or there's not enough time in the episode. So just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a hater thought.
To me, I don't know. I don't think it would be a good. I think the first year is the time for like a mostly straight port, but after that, you can't do a port and then a sequel, because then it would be like, okay, well, why did I buy this port if you're going to do this sequel thing? It seems kind of like if Mario Kart 9 comes out like, I don't know, 2019, I don't think anyone will really feel gypped because the port was so early on in its life cycle. But if they release like a port for Smash late and then like a year or two have a sequel, it's like, okay, well, that seems like I wasted money. So I think you only really have like one shot to do this. It's either early and it's, you know, a basic port, or it's later and you have to do a considerable amount more. Even if it's not, I guess, a full sequel, you'd have to do more than Mario Kart 8 did for like an enhanced port or whatever.
The funny part is you're trusting Nintendo would think that way, and that
I was about to say you're giving Nintendo a rationality. And,
I mean, Sakurai's behind it at least, so he's pretty good.
Hater cast. We're both like, yeah, right, Matt. You know they're gonna do exactly what you can't see.
Hey, I'm not saying what I want is likely. I'm just saying what I think would be better.
Gotcha.
I know it's not the case.
Gotcha, man. That's all good. I know a lot of people would be pretty irked if they release 4 remake and then release 5 a year later. Yeah, that would be a little rough. That'd be a little rough on the pocketbook at the very least. Yeah, there will be a lot of talk about how much money are we supposed to spend on this series, given the amount you spent on the DLC for the first one, and then supposedly we're all going to buy it again anyway. So
yeah, port and then a sequel and then DLC. Would be a bit much.
It's good times. Show how much you love Smash. Give them all your money. That's how you do it. Cool. I did not hear that little rumor.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to talk about. Eli, I know you have a busy schedule.
Sorry, I got to duck out, everyone. You know, university calls because I'm a loser.
Yep. Total loser. Getting a degree. Look at you, big nerd.
All right. See you guys. Nice chatting with you this week.
All righty. See you later. All right, Matt. Just you and me. Just me.
I don't even know how to solve.
Yo, bro. So now
too close to me, Unoclay. Don't touch me like that.
Yo, bro, sit next up to me over here now that Eli's gone. Yo. Rick, I like it.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, Rick.
Rick, you always got to sit up on the lap as soon as Eli leaves.
I want that Szechuan sauce, Morty. 10 seasons in a movie.
Just before we came live, you were working on the tech for the recording, but Eli said he tried to go to and get some of that Szechuan sauce and failed. He did not complete the mission. He said they got 20 packets of this famous freaking Szechuan sauce. You freaking nerds! Oh my god! Yeah, that's great stuff. So neat.
Speaking of McDonald's, I remember when they had pizza and it was actually pretty good. Or maybe I was a child and I was stupid and didn't know any better. But I remember it.
They had pizza at McDonald's in your country?
Yeah, in the 90s.
They never had pizza at McDonald's in America.
They must have.
Dude, I worked at McDonald's in the 90s. Or 90. Like, I think
in the 90.
Yeah, in the 90, I worked.
There's only 1 year in that whole decade.
I mean,
That was a short decade.
It's possible if it was the late 90s or something, I wouldn't have heard of it. But boy, I used to eat me some McDonald's before I got enlightened and got woke, bro. Fuck, dude. See, I'm trying out all these new words. You like it? It's my new lingo. Get woke. That's what they say to the kids, I heard. Yeah.
They should bring that back.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
I don't even... When did Mulan come out?
Is that where that's from?
Yeah, the Szechuan sauce is from... They released it around Mulan. Okay, 1998. Okay. So I would have been old enough to try it, but I guess I didn't really know anything about it.
I don't know. I stopped eating there in 1998. Fun fact about Unoclay, it was the very last meat I ever ate before I turned vegetarian. I ate a McDonald's chicken sandwich.
You're like, I ate his chicken sandwich from McDonald's and that was it. I'm like, this is garbage.
The end. That was what they call the end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bro. So other news besides like flavor packets and memories of the 90s fast food scene, what do we got on tap for the Nintendo fans tonight? Like other than our thoughts about Smash bullshit rumors and whatever.
All right, so there's a couple like little tidbits. ARMS is getting a comic series by Dark Horse, which is interesting because I never would have thought they'd turn that into a comic book series. The only weird thing is that it's starting fall of 2018, so I'm pretty sure this is past at least a couple of months past the DLC, because I know they said they were going to do DLC well, I mean, I guess it's free, but it's still downloadable. But I know they said they were doing DLC for like a year, and it came out like June. So let's say June 2018, and this is like September maybe. So I guess I don't know if it'll really be relevant or not, but whatever.
I just
neat.
want to repeat what you said for the listeners. There was a loud crackle in mic right when you said it. It's ARMS is getting a Dark Horse comic, and that's what we're talking about. I think it might have been in the recording. There was like, it went pop crackle right when you said what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
At least on my end. I don't know. It could just be Skype. But yeah, neat. I mean, I don't read comic books anymore. So what do you think about this?
I don't know. It seems neat. Maybe I'll buy it if it's priced fine. But yeah, I haven't really like bought any comics.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to them. I just don't make it. A lot of things I'm not opposed to. I just don't make an effort for it.
And if I'm gonna buy a comic, it's gonna be for a game I actually want to play. Oh, am I right?
Oh. I feel bad for ARMS. I want to play it, but then new games keep coming out, and then I can't play it. Like, Lollapapa's out, and then it's like, oh, right, you have Mario plus Rabbids. It's like, okay, I'm finished that. Oh wait, right. I should go and finish Snake Pass, and then it's like, oh, SteamWorld Dig came out, and then it's like, oh, Super Mario World is coming out in like 3 weeks, and I'll be playing that for like at least a month.
Yeah, and then you're like, ARMS, I feel bad for you. I wish you had more content. You're like, boo.
I still haven't even beaten like the Grand Prix mode or whatever it's called with all the characters.
Yeah,
I think
neither.
I've beaten it with like maybe 3 or 4.
I should do it for my workout tomorrow, because I sit at a desk all day long. So I need like anything to get up and stand up. Like, and ARMS like legitimately does make me stand up and move around. So it's like not like a workout per se, but like just physical activity other than sitting at a desk. So I should think about that tomorrow. And like, but I'm stuck, because I'm stuck on level 5 at the grand finale, whatever his name is, the giant head.
Yeah.
I forget his name. Headlock.
Yeah.
And I've got the dog.
Oh yeah, bite and bark.
And it's just like I'm just stuck. Like I've played him like probably 20, 30 times, and I'm like, I cannot beat you. The best, at maybe 1 out of 5 matches, I'll get 1 win out of the 3, and then
you're
it's
gonna
just
have to like rack up coins in other modes so you can buy new arms for him, and then go back in. Yeah. Actually, can you? I don't recall if you can change your arms. No, I don't think you can change it once you select. I think when you go to Grand Prix, you select your 3 arms you want to use, and then that's what you're stuck with.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like when you're in the game, you can switch between like 3 different types, but once you set those 3 types, you're kind of screwed. So you're probably screwed.
Probably sounds right. I can't quite remember. It's been so long since I played it. Yeah, and like you said, it's like you want to love ARMS, but it's going to go down as one of those not failed. It's going to go down as one of the interesting experiments, but like not the game you always wanted to play. It's just so obvious because it's like it's a neat game. It looks good. It's got a good idea.
It's just the wrong place at the wrong time.
There's so many other things, and it just doesn't have enough variety. That is the main thing for me. It's like like we were playing the other night. My friend was over. We watched a funny movie called Colossal. That's like a pretty interesting film. And then like late night, I was like, we need something multiplayer because we had 3 players and his girlfriend was with, and she's a gamer, but she's not like much of a console gamer. And so I put on Runbow, and Runbow is fun as heck on Wii U. And it's part of its appeal.
Speaking of, they're porting it to Switch.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that. That's neat. Like if you haven't played Runbow, it's a really fun party game. Now I don't know how Switch would work because you'd have a little bit more trouble not having controllers unless they let you sync like Wiimotes or something to it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but like because its attraction is you can have up to 8 players, and I've gotten up to 5 people at my house already where we were playing it with like Wiimotes and Pro controllers and the tablet. But my point of all that was Runbow is more fun to revisit than ARMS in a way because it's got different modes to play that are just like silly, simple. There's King of the Hill mode. There's like race modes. There's different things to do. So we ended up playing it for like more than an hour, just messing around with the 3 of us. Because it's like, when you get bored of this mode, we'll go do this other mode. And then we'll go do this survival mode. And then we'll go do this campaign mode, and it's like, ARMS just doesn't have that. And you can tell they couldn't figure out what to do with it. Like that it's like, we get the volleyball, we got the basketball. But that's it, really. You're like, those aren't even that great. It's like, okay, that's fun for like 1 minute, and that's it. And it's a little bit of a limitation of the type of game it is. So, but maybe sometime. But they can release all the DLC they want for it, and I'm barely paying attention now, and I don't want to be a hater. It's just like, I don't know what they could do to make it better. Like, I'd be like, I don't know, it's fine. It was fine. I played like 20 hours of it, and then other games came out, It's like...
Yeah, and they did release like a cool new character with Lollipop or whatever, but the next character they teased is Mecha Spring Man. It's like, man, this is not
You're already
great.
Yeah, you're
already pulling out the Robo doppelganger
True.
trope like crap. That's not good.
Yeah,
I know they're gonna do like 5 characters or whatever, but it's like, man, why?
Yeah. I feel
or
bad.
maybe it's a good idea because Super Mario Odyssey is coming out, and the character they were gonna launch probably wasn't gonna get much attention anyway.
Yeah, it's like it's good of them to support it and stay supporting it when they said they would. And even if they can look at the download numbers and look at the play numbers and on the online servers, and they can see, poop, nobody's playing this game anymore. It's already fizzling, But it's not like anyone's complaining about Switch these days and not having games. It sure isn't what the word is on the street,
It's funny. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. So it's
what
like,
a turn they've made.
What
Switch,
a good
where's at least with Wii U, we're like, come on, at least give us like one virtual console game, and now we're like, there's too many games, we can't keep up.
We're not even complaining about the lack of virtual console. It's just like,
no.
Yeah, so what? Like, it's like,
I just meant like there were so few releases that people would like.
Yeah.
People will complain because there's like at least put something on virtual console, whereas now it's like, okay, we have too much, we can't even keep up. Oh gosh.
I agree. It's
a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, and it's going to be the story. It looks like for the time being, the only danger we face almost now, and this is like almost Eli's department to comment on, but I mean the danger we face now is the problem of too much competition and like good big games not getting the attention they deserve. Like if Wolfenstein and Doom come over, and then what's it called, Skyrim comes over, and then they don't sell well, that's the danger now. Like that's the nightmare that's keeping Reggie up, that it's like we've got the support all of a sudden, at least this small amount of like big AAA support, and we've got all these indies, and a lot of the indie stories sound pretty good. People are saying, hey, yeah, they're selling, we had decent sales numbers on Switch, or whatever. But like that's the nightmare for down the road for the next 2 years, where it's like, what if there's too much to play and like things don't make it into the pockets of gamers, and then the story starts to turn where it's like yeah, we put our game on Switch, but we only sold like 5,000 copies, and it's a great game. So what's up with that? And the real answer is like, well, there's a lot of competition, like suddenly you're on the hottest system and there's too much competition, for attention.
I don't think
But
that'll be a problem. One, because other games, still sell huge on other platforms. So, like, if they don't have a problem there, I don't see why Switch would. But the other thing is that like the console itself is selling well. So as more consoles sell, more people would have it, and you'll have a bigger pool of people. So you won't have to have most of the audience like buying your game. You'll be able to diversify. Like, half of the players buying it is still like a solid amount because the base is this big. Sure. So we won't have to have a huge percentage.
You're absolutely right. I mean, like if the install base can continue to grow, we don't have that problem. There is the trick. It's kind of, go on.
That segues into the next tidbit is they're actually upping the supply to 2 million units a month.
Right. Now the rubber hits the road.
Yep.
Now people will be able to get a Switch if they want one for at least for a little while. It looks like or soon. So, this is that's the thing. It's got to be the nerve-wracking thing running this company right now. That it's like, once we make it so that everyone can get one, what happens? Does it turn out? Oh well, it's a bigger success story than the Wii U, but it's not like light years above it, or is it going to be like Christmas item of the year to get Mario, and Switch or whatever? Who knows? Mm-hmm. Hard to say. So.
But, that'll be the real telling sign when it's actually something people can get easily.
Yeah. I'm always wondering about it because like I play mine in public, like on a bunch of planes lately, or on like a few different bus trips and things like that. And I see people looking. Mm-hmm. I can't tell, is there like this like, oh, he's got the hide item vibe in the air, or is it just like everybody's got a tablet now, so you can't really tell. It's like. Mm-hmm. Oh, what kind of tablets that guy got is all they're wondering about, or whatever, like, or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Really anecdotal too, but I've been wondering about it lately since I've been traveling a bunch and taking the old Switch on the road and stuff like that. So
at the very least, people know of it and will be able to know more of it because it's portable. So there's that going for it.
Yeah. Well, it's and they've been talking a lot about how many sourcing problems they've had with like the chips and the hardware to like make the hardware at all. Like, so sounds like they're getting something in line. They must have gotten a big deal set up or something, because it was like, that was the big barrier. They're saying like, it's literally that we can't make them fast enough. We don't have the parts, so so sounds like they're straightening something out on the back end. So that's good to hear.
Yep.
Cool.
Super Mario Odyssey is apparently you'll be able to unlock costumes with Amiibo. And also in-game hints. So the costumes are specific to certain Amiibo. I don't know which ones other than, the wedding series ones. There's probably more. Yeah. Who knows? And then any other Amiibo will work for in-game hints. I think it shows you exactly where one of the Power Moons is, or it's I'm not too sure, because in like the little video it just marks something on your map. So I'm not sure if it's like, oh, it's in this area, or, oh, it's directly here or not, but that's what it'll do.
Right. Yeah. I'll be a little bit useless on talking about Mario coming up to the release of it, because like I've been avoiding looking at it much at all. Like, so it's like all that stuff you said to me is like a little bit Greek to me, but I'm like, it's all good. It's not like spoilers. It's like I'm not very knowledgeable about the new stuff, because I'm like, I've already know a little too much, like, and I want it to be pretty fresh and awesome when I get it, because I might not even get it when it launches. I might like wait for like to do that like a Christmas type game or something like that, because it just feels right, like to have it like for maybe a midwinter type game or something. But interesting, cool. I mean, like the Amiibo thing, I am not buying any more Amiibos. I even held back from the like. Well, I mean, I'm not saying forever, but I held back from like buying I really like the Metroid breaking out of its case one. Mm-hmm. Didn't try to get it. I haven't bought Bayonetta. I haven't bought like anything outside of the Smash series ever, except for Toad. because I wanted the unlockables and Toad's the Toad what's it called?
Treasure tracker.
Treasure tracker. Yeah, I wanted the unlockable aspect that it actually did something in the game, so I bought that. That is the only I think would be true to. No, I have a Splatoon amiibo, so I have two. And like I would gladly buy more Splatoon amiibos if they would give me those 8-bit like menu games back, but no, yeah, that's almost like one thing that's missing from like Splatoon. I do not know. Maybe it didn't get a good response the first time, but that was the coolest thing when the amiibos unlocked the different menu games like in Splatoon 1. And I'm like, I don't care about saving my loadout enough to like care about amiibos. Like, sorry, but I don't. So I'm wishing I would buy another Splatoon amiibo if it gave you more of those mini games, because like I hate waiting in the lobby for matches to start and there's nothing to do except
that's really weird that they don't have like one of them. They don't have like any of the mini games. I'm not sure why.
Scratch that record. I'm like, boy, I'm sick of scratching that record. But yeah, but anyhow, yeah, cool.
So on to some other news bits. The Wii Shop is closing next year, or not next year, in 2019.
Yeah, so, they gave us a year.
Right? Yeah, they're like, this is the whatever. They're like, we paid for this long, and you have this time to download your games, and then it's closing.
I wonder if Netflix will still work on the device. I assume it will. I don't think it's going to like kill the online functionality of the Wii. I think just the store is what they're warning us about, because there's definitely people out there that still use their Wii to get Netflix. Like, so,
Yeah, I want to say that they stopped supporting online for it, but I don't know.
Netflix still works on it. I guarantee it. You would have heard about that if it didn't. Like, because that is like a lot of people. Like, Wii became their Netflix box for a lot of people. So I would bet money it works. They're just not. They're not having like online. Like, I know you can't play like Mario Kart on it anymore or anything like that. But
yeah.
But I'm sure Netflix still works. I mean, that's just like they just have, that has nothing to do with Nintendo's architecture other than like having it on the system, I'm sure. So, but anyway, but yeah, R.I.P. Wii Shop. I spent a lot of time in there, bought a lot of games in there. Not as a lot as I would nowadays if I'd been playing Wii as much as I did, but I played a lot of physical copies on Wii. I didn't buy as many games from the eShop, and I didn't buy a lot of retro games on the eShop, but I did buy a fair number of like small indie titles back on my Wii. So R.I.P. Wii Shop.
Poor Wii Shop.
You're looking to see if the Netflix is still on there.
Yeah, I was trying. I couldn't find out any details.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet. I have a Wii sitting right here that I could try if I felt like it. Like literally sitting next. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Netflix still works on there, but I haven't tried it in a long time. But yeah, I just a random thought associated with this. We should consider doing. I don't know. You and I and the other guys have to talk about something like with Miiverse. Like, I don't even know if we like live blog.
That's dying earlier than the Wii Shop. How bad is that?
When Miiverse goes down, we could like live blog it, like the last minutes of it or something. Like but they probably aren't going to tell us the exact minute it goes down. It's like it's going to be like, man, I got to get on my Wii U tonight and like send up some posts or something. Like just like because I still have people I talk to on there through messages and stuff. Like,
weird.
That, and I got flagged multiple times for like trying to post my info on there, like to tell those exact people like how to get a hold of me, like when we evolve to the new system. So yeah, but yeah. Anyhow, what else we got in the news tonight? We're going on an hour and 20 here. What do we got? What do we want to tell them about? Tell these people.
Nintendo's YouTube program doesn't allow you to live stream, which is really stupid. I don't know why. It wasn't a good program to begin with, so I don't know why anyone would have joined it, but here's more reason not to.
I have a fair understanding about what it is, but explain to me and the listeners who might not know exactly what the program is. What's the program?
So Nintendo's YouTube program, I forget what it's called. It's not Ambassador. They have some fancy name for it. It doesn't really matter. Basically, they're like any other kind of YouTube partner, which is, they say I forget how to explain it. basically they deal. How YouTube works is if you partner with YouTube directly, you have to reach $100 threshold before you can get any of your money when your videos are monetized. Versus when you join with a partner, the trade-off is they get a cut, but you get your money a lot quicker, regardless of how much you actually earn. So it doesn't matter if you earn, $5 or $50 or 10 cents, you'll always get it consistently. Basically every 2 months. So you wait 2 months for the first one, and then it keeps going.
So it's like leveraging the power of a big corporation to get your pay faster, like something like that. So
exactly.
More,
but the Nintendo one was the pay cut or whatever, the revenue share was not good. I think it was like 60 them, 40 you, where other ones, like the one I'm partnered with, is like 90-10. So I get 90 and they get 10. So it's not even a good split to begin with. But also you could only upload games like from a specified list that they made.
Yeah.
And a lot of games like weren't you technically weren't supposed to play and like monetize on the list. Whereas other people have been able to do it with other YouTube partners like just fine. Like I'm sure probably some of them are getting claimed anyway, but people still do it and get away with it fine. And then there's a bunch of other dumb rules that really makes you question, why would I bother joining this if it's terrible rather than someone else and get away with it?
Yeah, that's why I wonder about listening to it.
The funny thing,
I would do it.
The funny thing is on their list, they're like, oh, you can't, upload Smash Brothers, and monetize it or whatever because we don't have all the rights because there's so many other companies involved, which is understandable. But because of that, like, they can't really claim it, sort of thing. Any other schmuck like me can use like Smash Brothers footage and still monetize it because they can't claim it because they can't claim something.
Right.
Well, they can't claim it for themselves because there's too many parties involved. So basically, no one can claim it against you, so you can use it anyway. So their whatchamacallit, their outline says, oh no, you can't upload, you can't make videos of this game, but if you just join another network, then you can and also make money off of it. So it's just a really bad program. But basically,
it sounds really confusing, and it sounds like the kind of thing I just never would do. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do what you said. Like, I'm going to do it my own way, and if I don't get it as monetized or whatever, I guess I don't, or whatever, because it's like the trade-off is better to be free of those shackles. Yeah.
Short story, there's a lot of restrictions, and now they're just adding another restriction with live streaming, which is really weird because a lot of people have been on Twitch, and YouTube is slowly, getting live streaming and adding, well, I mean, they've had it for a little bit, or a little longer, but they've been trying to like ramp up live streaming, and more people are doing live streaming on YouTube, and now they're just like, no, you shouldn't do it. It's like, do you not realize that this is a growing trend and you probably shouldn't axe it?
Yeah, they do know it's a growing trend. They don't know what to do about it because they really, you can tell they wish it wasn't happening. They want to control the message. They want to control the media for their product. There's good and there's bad in that attitude, but like that's the problem. They don't really know what they want here, or the thing that they want isn't really an option, which it would be to be like, no, nobody can stream Nintendo games. Like that's our thing, like we stream the Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
You guys play the Nintendo stuff, and they, they're struggling with it. It's one of those things that they haven't quite figured out, like how to approach it. And frankly, I don't really know either because I'm not sure what their concerns are, but there certainly are concerns when other people start using your product and making videos of your product and stuff. I can see a company having a little bit of a worried view toward that, especially being the company Nintendo is. But they're not going to be able to stop it. That is a reality. So anyhow, interesting. Yep.
Cool.
What's I think you had one more thing on the agenda. I remember, for tonight.
Yeah. Wow. You really remembered. I'm kind of surprised that you just knew that.
No,
The last
I just
thing,
remember earlier I counted. I was like thinking
yeah,
like how many minutes per thing or something. But anyhow,
okay.
yeah. What's the word?
Uno's on the ball. And the
Yeah.
last thing is we got some more details about the Atari box.
All right, right. I
And
knew it was something I was interested. Yeah.
this is, it doesn't sound good. So supposedly, from their wording, it can play current games, which is way too broad to really make a statement. Current games could just be current indie games, which I mean, indie games are fine, but it's not like it's the next big competitor either. So it's up to interpretation, but as I like to do, assume the worst.
Yeah.
So otherwise they would say, play great big AAA games, right? Like if you had that, you would advertise it, whatever. They're not giving all the details, but
right.
The devil is in the details they're not giving.
That is where the details live. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the new details that they're giving that make it sound so bad?
So okay, so let me say this again. Current games and play games from other storefronts, providing it meets the hardware requirements. So that's kind of interesting. So essentially, what I'm getting from this is if you buy games on Steam or Good Old Games, which I GOG, or other services, you'll be able to play them supposedly all on this, which I guess would be more convenient as opposed to I think the Steam link, you can obviously only play Steam games, so if you buy it on somewhere else, the advantage to that is that other online stores have different games sometimes, like EA's Origin, right. I think probably has some exclusive stuff, or just different sales in general, that kind of thing, so that would be a benefit. You can stream content from your PC, which who cares at this point in time, runs Linux, so they can change things, make it more customizable. I'm not sure if people can customize it themselves or not. And apparently it's going to come preloaded with Atari games, which I mean, maybe neat, but at this point, if you really cared, you could have pirated them already anyway. So whatever. It's expected. Apparently it's going to ship in spring next year, and it's going to launch a crowdfunding campaign. Apparently it's not to make it. It's the crowdfunding campaign is supposedly if people want collector's editions, that sort of thing. So it's not like, oh man, you have to fund this or else we're not making. I mean, they said it's going to ship next spring, so obviously they would have had to make it themselves. But it's for collector's editions and whatnot. But the kicker is it basically sounds like another Ouya, except this is going to cost $250 to $300.
Yeah.
Which is the price of a PS4 or an Xbox One or a Switch.
Yeah, that's
so that's why would you even?
It's a little tough to imagine the market being there for this. That is my first reaction, but that's excuse me, I'm yawning. I had a really busy day. Sorry everyone, I'm yawning. It's a little hard to imagine the audience being for that, and that's coming from me, a guy who has a lot of has a ton of fondness, I'd say, for Atari throughout my life, and has one in my house, and always respects them and wishes they'd be still somehow part of gaming more than they are. And I don't know what to say. The price tag is higher than what I thought we were imagining we were getting here. I'm not sure, man. I clicking around the internet earlier, I had opened some tabs quick to look up what's going on when I saw this was on the agenda, and all the internet news looks like people are saying they're not quite so excited about it, which is a bad way to launch. But I would want to know, I guess if I'm thinking of it, okay, so I'm the guy who'd want this on some planet somewhere. I'm one of the people that could be this, but what would I want it to be? I'd want it to be cheaper, first of all. If you're going to get me to buy something in another box in my house, it should be a little cheaper than that, from the number you're throwing out there. I'd want to know, well, let me think. I want to know what it is. What is it about this that makes me want it? What is it about it that makes me want it? That's such an obvious thing to say, but I'm not clear. Like you said, what am I getting for this? if they'd say we're remastering old Atari games to have like online functionality, so you can play Combat or Breakout or something online with other friends, like to have the Atari box. That's pretty cool. That could be a selling point. Like, wow, okay, so you're gonna add something to these old games. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Matt, you're not even like the target audience. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say not for you. You're not interested. This is just like too much of a nostalgia act for you to like even get interested in. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, man. I think it's a long shot in this marketplace, and that price tag alone is like, that's pretty rough.
Yeah. So I really don't see what makes it different than like a Steam Link, which is you can play Steam game or stream Steam games from your computer to your TV, which I guess this you don't have to rely on your computer. It's based off of the hardware inside of the Atari box itself, so maybe that's why it costs a bit more or whatever. But the same thing is, here's a small box that plays, Steam games and games on other storefronts. I don't know. I just don't see why I would want this over like a Steam Link, which is sure, like you have to have like a decent computer if you want to play games. But I think anyone with like a modern computer can run like most, well, maybe not AAA games, but at least a good chunk of games anyway. So it's like, why would you want this over another one? It's mostly the price, because I think this might have had a market if it was like $50 like the Steam Link, and it's like, oh, it looks like an Atari box. It has some Atari games on it, so it's like kind of going for the NES or NES and Super NES classic kind of vibe. And you can also play games, from other storefronts on it, so it's not just these 10 or 15 Atari games, which you might not spend too much time on. So, like, if they took that approach, I would be like, okay, I could see this having a place, like, for a decent chunk of people.
Right.
Just because the name and all that other stuff. But at that price point, it's like, okay, what am I really paying for?
$200 to $300, a lot of money. You're paying
for a console that can't play most games.
Yeah,
it sounds most like AAA games at least, which is why you pay that big of a price.
Yeah, Nintendo's been fighting that war with limited successes and failures and stuff for years, and like Atari, man, I don't know, man. Like I'll keep watching it with interest. I'll say that. I don't want to be a hater, but like I'm not sure if I get it. Because I was thinking this would be, when we heard about it initially, I was admitting I was excited. It sounded cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have so many freaking consoles and like old retro crap laying around my house. It's like, it has become a little bit of an issue of like, I don't know if I can put another thing in here. I'm buying a true legitimate Famicom, because right now I just play Famicoms on an adapter on my NES. I'm buying a Famicom from a guy on Nintendo Age, just repairing it for me right now and putting in some mods on it. And I'm like, where am I going to put it's tiny. Famicoms are small, and it's like, where am I going to put that? Like I got to look at my layout here and figure out a place to sit it, literally physically where to put it. I don't know. I'm a little bit like with an Atari box. Yeah, it's another box. Like literally, it's another box. It's like I'm going to need to be sold, and there's no way at that price point that I can say I'm going to be a day one purchaser. I can't think of what they would do to make it be that for me. I just don't know. So
yeah,
sad, but we'll keep watching it with interest. I like talking about it when it comes up. So
I don't know. I don't really know what their thinking was, because I guess they started this before the NES Classic, but after that it's like, oh shoot, how can you charge that much for this kind of thing when that releases? But I don't know. It could have gone in another direction and been one of those like Retron consoles where it has basically everything. I mean, obviously they can't do that legally, and they wouldn't be able to get certain games, but it would be interesting if they're like, hey, the NES or SNES is just on those consoles, but this Atari box has games from all over the place, or maybe just rather than just Atari, it's like, okay, have different arcade games on it, like just something to separate itself as like, oh, this is for that one specific console, but this is for like generations. I think that could have been cool. I mean, I guess technically, because it's Linux and people can probably mod it, they could technically put it on themselves, but I think that'd be an easier way to market it if you had like a bunch of other stuff.
Agreed. But well, wish them luck, and hope for the best, and then see what happens. So, but that price point might have to sink a little bit, and it's a shame. Because it's a shame when that writing's already on the wall, and there's like moving a big freight train like that of like decisions they've already made with shareholders, with the internal development, with prices that they're for equipment and the expenditures they've got. Like that ship, to move that ship is I can only imagine virtually impossible to like move that ship. That of like meaning getting everyone to agree we're going to lower the price point. Like come back to it and say, you know what, we decided. That's too much. Everybody's telling us that's too much. We agree. We're going to launch at 150, or something like that. I just can't even think of a world where that would happen, But, I don't know.
Yeah, they're pretty much screwed because you can't like drop the price so much and be like, well, we heard you. Now we're going to drop the price. It's like, so were you just going to make like 100% profit before?
Yeah,
and then now you're dropping it, or do you need to have it at that price and now you dropped it and now you're going to lose money on it, and that's the only way you make money from this because you're not selling games on it. So
doesn't look good if you do that. That's right. It probably would be a little bit of a complicated discussion.
The amount they would be able to cut the price would not be sufficient enough. Like they maybe could cut it $50, but I doubt they would be able to cut it more without severe problems.
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. Hard to imagine a world where something changes at this point. It's just, I hate to see that. I really do. I grew up playing Atari. It was the first console I ever quote owned. It was my grandma's, but it was like the first one I had like extended exposure to, like on my own terms. And that's a shame to see them messing up again, like when they apparently look like they're putting a lot of resources into this. But yeah, it's what it is. We'll see.
If it does fail, then maybe you can get it for cheap.
Yeah, eventually I'll pick one up for cheap and see what it's all about when the hype dies down or whatever. So I guess that's the silver lining for some of us, I suppose. So yeah, interesting, man. Good point.
So on that somber note, I guess that'll be the end of it for this week. You can find me at the Manga Viking at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and VidMe. And where can people find you?
The best place to get a hold of me would be to hit me up on Unoclay_Switch. If you know the answer to this week's sound quiz at the beginning, that's a good place to drop me a line. That's Unoclay_Switch. And otherwise, send me a friend request or talk to me on Twitter, whatever. I'm there.
Cool. So we'll see you next time and leave gaming to Nintendo.